if you are a woman over 50 and you drink plain water every single day, and you still feel bloated, exhausted, and constantly rushing to the bathroom, I need you to stop what you are doing and watch this video until the very end. Because what I am about to share with you is something most doctors never mention during a routine checkup, and it may be the missing piece behind some of the most frustrating symptoms you have been living with for years. My name is Dr. Eleanor Whitaker. I have spent over 2 decades working with women going through perimenopause and menopause, and in that time I have noticed a pattern that keeps showing up in my practice: women who do everything right, who eat well, who exercise, who try to stay hydrated, and yet they still feel like their body is working against them. They still wake up at 3 in the morning, still feel that sudden rush of heat crawling up their neck, still carry extra weight around their midsection that was never there before. And one of the most intimate problems, one that very few women talk about openly, is the unexpected leaking. A small laugh, a sneeze, a quick jog, and suddenly there is that mortifying moment that steals your confidence and makes you rethink every plan you make. Here is the question I want you to sit with for just a moment. What if your water, the thing you have been told your whole life is the healthiest thing you can drink, is actually not doing enough for your body after 50? What if the way you are hydrating is missing one critical element that your hormones desperately need to keep your bladder, your pelvic floor, and your entire system functioning the way it should? I am not here to scare you. I am here to explain something that changed the way I approach women's health entirely. And it starts with a tiny mineral that most people overlook completely: when estrogen begins to decline. And this can start as early as your mid-30s. Long before menopause officially begins, something quiet happens inside your body. The tissues that line your bladder and urethra start to thin. The muscles of your pelvic floor begin to lose the tone and responsiveness they once had. The nerves that send signals between your brain and your bladder become less precise. This is not weakness. This is biology. But here is what nobody tells you. These changes do not happen in isolation. They are connected to a cascade of hormonal shifts that affect how your body absorbs and uses minerals, particularly zinc. Zinc is not a trendy supplement. It is not something invented in a laboratory. It is an essential mineral that has been present in the human body since the beginning of human life. But after 50, women's ability to absorb zinc from food drops significantly. And zinc is not just about immune function or skin health, as you may have heard before. Zinc plays a direct role in maintaining the structural integrity of pelvic floor muscles. It supports the receptors in your bladder wall that regulate urgency and control. It influences the hormonal signals that tell your body how to respond when pressure is applied, when you laugh, when you lift something, when you simply stand up too fast. When zinc levels drop, those signals become inconsistent. The pelvic floor becomes less responsive. The bladder loses its ability to hold on, to wait, to behave the way it once did. And plain water, as pure and essential as it is, does nothing to replace that mineral. Every glass you drink that is not fortified with the right support is essentially flushing through a system that is already depleted. This is the part one want you to really hear. What you have been calling a bladder problem, or a menopause problem, or just a getting older problem. It may actually be a zinc deficiency showing up in the most uncomfortable and embarrassing way possible. I have sat across from hundreds of women in my clinic who came in convinced they needed surgery, convinced they needed a lifetime of panty liners, convinced their body had simply given up on them. And when we addressed the underlying mineral imbalance, when we gave the body what it was missing, things began to shift. Not overnight, not magically, but consistently, noticeably, and in a way that gave these women their confidence back. Now, I want to pause here for a moment because I know some of you are watching this and thinking, wait, is this really what's been happening to me? Is it possible that something this simple has been overlooked for this long? And the answer is yes. It is entirely possible, Because the modern healthcare system is not designed to look for mineral deficiencies when a woman in her 50s mentions bladder leaks. The default response is to hand over a referral or a prescription. Nobody sits down and asks about nutrition, hydration habits, or hormonal mineral absorption. Nobody asks what your body might be asking for. And that gap, that silence, is exactly where so many women fall through. What I want you to understand is that this is not just about the leaking. The bladder is one symptom, but when zinc is depleted, your entire hormonal ecosystem feels the effects. Your thyroid relies on zinc to convert hormones properly. Your adrenal glands use zinc to manage your stress response. Your brain uses zinc to regulate mood and emotional resilience. The fatigue you feel, the irritability that catches you off guard, the nights where sleep just will not come, these are not separate problems. They are connected, and zinc sits at a crossroads where all of them intersect. So when I tell my patients to add zinc to their water routine, I am not just talking about bladder leaks. I am talking about giving the body a foundational tool it needs to rebalance itself from the inside out. Not a cure, not a miracle, a support, a signal to the body that says, I see what you need. I am paying attention. I am giving you what you have been asking for. Now, I know what the next question is. Where do I find zinc? How much do I need? Is it safe to just add it to water on its own? These are exactly the right questions to ask. And here is where I want to be honest with you. Getting the right form and the right amount of zinc in isolation is more complicated than it sounds. Not all zinc supplements are absorbed equally. Some forms irritate the stomach. Some dosages are too low to make a real difference. And zinc, when taken alone without complementary compounds, may not reach the tissues that need it most. This is why I always tell the women I work with, if you are serious about addressing this, you want to look for a solution that combines elemental zinc with other botanicals and nutrients that work synergistically to support kidney function, bladder tone, and pelvic floor strength all at once. If you are watching this and you are not sure where to start, I want to point you to the link in the description and in the first comment below. What you will find there has helped thousands of women in exactly the situation you may be in right now, women who were tired of planning their outings around bathroom proximity, tired of laughing quietly so they would not leak, tired of feeling like their body was betraying them. The formula there includes elemental zinc alongside other powerful, research-backed ingredients, all in one place so you are not hunting down 5 different bottles and hoping they work together. It is the kind of complete support I wish I could hand every single woman who walks into my clinic. Go take a look. Read what is there. See if it resonates with what I have been describing. The link is right there waiting for you. Now let me go deeper, because I want you to understand what is happening inside your body at a level most medical conversations never reach. Because if you understand the mechanism, you will never look at these symptoms the same way again. Your pelvic floor is not just a group of muscles. It is a communication network. It receives signals from your hormones, from your nervous system, from your nutritional status, and from your stress levels, all simultaneously. When estrogen drops, the collagen fibers in these muscles begin to break down faster than they can be repaired. Collagen production is dependent on zinc. So when zinc is low and estrogen is also declining, you have a double loss happening in the same tissue at the same time. The muscles weaken faster. The connective tissue loses its elasticity. The bladder begins to descend slightly, something called bladder prolapse in more severe cases. And even in its early stages, this shift changes how pressure is managed during everyday activities. This is why so many women notice the leaking starts with impact, a cough, a sneeze, a jump, before it progresses to urgency leaking, where the need to go becomes so sudden and intense that there is simply not enough time. That progression is not random. It follows a hormonal and nutritional timeline. And the good news, and I want to make sure you hear this clearly, is that this timeline is not fixed. The body has a remarkable capacity to respond when you give it the right inputs at the right time. But here is where I have to be honest with you about something that most wellness videos will not say directly. The window in which your body responds most effectively to this kind of nutritional support is not unlimited. The longer these deficiencies persist, the more the tissue adapts to a depleted state. The pelvic floor compensates in ways that become harder to unwind. The bladder nerves recalibrate around a pattern of urgency. The hormonal signals become more disrupted, not less. This is not meant to frighten you. This is the biology. And knowing it means you are not helpless. It means the best time to act is before the pattern becomes the new normal. I have watched women in their early 50s make these changes and feel a real difference within weeks. I have also worked with women in their mid-60s who waited, who hoped it would resolve on its own, who were told by well-meaning people that this was just aging, and who then found that the restoration process was slower and less complete. I am not saying it is too late for anyone. I am saying the body is always listening, and the sooner you give it what it needs, the louder and clearer it can respond. There is also something important I want to address about stress, because I know that for many of you watching, the past few years have not been easy. Chronic stress depletes zinc at an accelerated rate. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, competes with zinc at the cellular level. So if you have been going through a difficult period emotionally, professionally, or personally, your zinc levels may be even lower than a standard blood test would suggest. Standard serum zinc tests are notoriously unreliable for detecting functional deficiency. You can have a normal range result and still be running low in the tissues that matter most. This is something the integrative and functional medicine community has known for years, but it rarely filters down into mainstream gynecological or urological care. Your body has been trying to tell you something. The leaking is a message. The fatigue is a message. The mood shifts, the weight that will not move, the nights where rest never quite comes. These are not random. They are signals from an intelligent system that is doing its absolute best with fewer resources than it needs. Hormones are not the problem. They are signals your body is trying to send. And when you learn to read them, when you respond instead of dismiss, the conversation between you and your own biology changes. I am going to leave you with this. You have spent years taking care of everyone else. You have pushed through symptoms because there was always something more pressing, someone else who needed more. But your body has kept score. It is not punishing you. It is asking. And it is still capable of responding when you finally give it the answer it has been waiting for. The link below, and in the first comment, holds a solution that I am confident in, one that brings together elemental zinc and a handful of other highly potent, carefully chosen ingredients in a single formula designed for women in exactly your position. Women who want to feel like themselves again. Women who are done managing symptoms and ready to address the root. Thousands of women have already taken that step. They were where you are right now, watching, wondering, waiting. The ones who acted are the ones who changed their story. Your window is now. Your body is still listening. Give it what it needs, while it can still respond the way you want it to. The link is right below this video. Do not scroll past it. Do not tell yourself you will come back to it later. Later has a way of becoming never. Click it now, read what is there, and take the first step toward feeling like you again.